Good morning students. I am Salunke TV, a teacher from Sri Shivaji Vidya Mandir and Junior College, Aund. I welcome all of you in this session of English language. In the earlier session, we started the third poem, the Inchcape Rock, written by Robert Southey. In the last session, we discussed the first 7 stanzas from the poem The Inchcape Rock. So what did we see in these 7 stanzas? In the beginning of the poem, we saw that how is the climate, the atmosphere around the Inchcape Rock in the ocean. Similarly, who installed the bell on the Inchcape Rock, and why did Abbot, the noble person Abbot, install that bell on the Inchcape Rock. Similarly, we also discussed about the wicked person, the Ralph, who wanted to cut the bell from the Inchcape Rock. In the 7th stanza, we saw that how the sun is bright in the sky and also how the seabirds are chirping and flying over the ocean. Now today we are going to begin the stanza number 8. I am sure that you must be having the textbook of English language with you. So let us concentrate on stanza number 8. I read the stanza number 8. His eye was on the Inchcape float. Quoth he, my men put out the boat and row me to the Inchcape Rock, and I will plague the Abbot of Aberbrothok. So in stanza 8, the stanza number 8 reflects the real wickedness of Ralph. He is absolutely obsessed by, the Ralph is totally obsessed by a buoy that floats on the Inchcape Rock. With this intention, he commands his men to take over him to the Inchcape Rock by boat. If you look at the line, and row me to the Inchcape Rock, this line explains. He tells his men to take over him to the Inchcape Rock by boat. Similarly, in this stanza, if you look at the second line, the word quoth. The word quoth means to say. Now, Ralph devilishly made up his mind to destroy the benevolent, the noble work of the Abbot. So this is what the poet tells us in stanza number 8. Now let us come to stanza number 9. I read the 9th stanza. You look at the stanza. The boat is lowered, the boatmen row, and to the Inchcape Rock they go. Sir Ralph bent over from the boat and he cut the bell from the Inchcape float. Practically, this stanza describes. What does this stanza describe? This stanza describes that practically Sir Ralph Rover here has implemented his wicked plan. And what was his wicked plan? To cut a bell from the Inchcape Rock. The men along with Ralph reduced the speed of boat and reached very close to the Inchcape Rock. Bending over from the boat, Ralph executed his wicked plan of cutting the bell. If you look at the last line of this stanza, and he cut the bell from the Inchcape float. So in this stanza, it is this stanza in which the Ralph implements his wicked plan of cutting the bell from the Inchcape float. Now let us come to the 10th stanza. I read stanza number 10. You look at this stanza. Down sunk the bell with a gurgling sound. The bubbles rose and burst around. Quoth Sir Ralph, the next who comes to rock won't bless the Abbot of Aberbrothok. So the very purpose of placing a bell by Abbot seems to have been defeated in this stanza. The moment wicked Ralph cut a bell, it drowned into water with gurgling sound. Let us look at the first line of this stanza. Down sunk the bell with a gurgling sound. As soon as Ralph cut the bell started sinking into the water of the ocean, making the gurgling sound. As it went down, as the bell went down deeper and deeper, bubbles appeared on the surface of sea and seawater and burst after some time. Out of jealousy, Ralph commented that henceforth, in future, whenever the mariners will come very close to the Inchcape Rock, nobody will bless Abbot, as there will be no warning for the upcoming sailors, because he has cut the bell from the Inchcape Rock. And therefore, whenever the waves of the ocean will rise and fall, there will be no sound at all. The sound which used to be precaution, alert for the mariners. So this is what the poet tells us in stanza number 10. Now let us come to the next stanza, stanza number 11. I read the stanza. Sir Ralph the Rover sailed away. He scour'd the seas for many a day, and now grown rich with plunder'd store. He steers his course for Scotland's shore. So after accomplishing his goal, what was his goal? To cut the bell. And he has accomplished his target, his goal of cutting the bell from the Inchcape Rock. Ralph wandered and indulged himself with others for many days. For many days, he travelled to look for ships to be looted and had a collection of a big amount of wealth. As a result, Ralph became financially strong and now directed his attention towards the shore of Scotland. If you look at the last line of this stanza number 11, he steers his course for Scotland's shore. So steer, the word steer means directs the course of the ship. He travelled many days here and there in the ocean. He robbed many ships, collected a big amount of wealth with him, and now he wanted to go to the shore of Scotland. Let us come to the next stanza. I read the stanza. So thick a haze overspreads the sky, they cannot see the sun on high. The wind hath blown a gale all day. At evening it hath died away. The word that has occurred in the first line, haze. Haze means thin mist. So thick a haze overspread the sky. The day Ralph was heading back, the day Ralph was travelling back to the Scotland shore, the whole space under the sky, was completely filled with fog, with mist. He even could not view the sun in the sky. The foggy atmosphere, widely spread around them, discouraged them to move ahead. Due to the presence of fog, due to the presence of mist, the sailors along with this wicked Ralph could not see what is in front of them. Throughout the day, the strong wind blew, but it ceased in the evening. So, it is this stanza in which the poet describes how the weather, how the climate discouraged the wicked Ralph along with his men or sailors. Now let us come to the next stanza. I read the stanza. On the deck, the rover takes his stand. So dark it is, they see no land. Quoth Sir Ralph, it will be lighter soon, for there is a dawn of the rising moon. Standing on the deck of the ship, Ralph tried to see the land, but failed. In the earlier stanza, we discussed there was a fog, mist overspread in the space, and therefore Ralph tried to see, tried to view the land where he wanted to go, but because of the foggy atmosphere, climate, he failed to view what is ahead. In this situation, Ralph was so confident that he assured his men there would be soon light, as the moon was about to appear in the sky. So, up to this time, Ralph is fully confident, fully sure that he will definitely reach to the shore of the Scotland. Let us come to the next stanza. Canst hear, said one, the breakers roar, for methinks we should be near the shore. Now, where we are, I cannot tell, but I wish I could hear the Inchcape Bell. So one of the members, one of the men who were with Ralph informed that he could not hear the sound of collision between the ship and dangerous rock underneath the waves. Moreover, he was unable to locate the ship in the right position. The word in the second line, methinks, it seems to me. It is the archaic form of I think. Moreover, he was unable to fix the ship in the right position. The ship of Ralph was expected to be very close to shore, but failed to guess the exact location in the ocean. To worsen the situation, there was no warning bell to alert them from the Inchcape Rock. Because we know that we have already seen that Ralph has already cut the bell from the Inchcape Rock, and therefore when there was a collision, they could not hear the sound of the bell. So let us see the next stanza. I read the stanza. They hear no sound, the swell is strong. Though the wind hath fallen, they drift along, till the vessel strikes with a shivering shock. O Christ, it is the Inchcape Rock. See, they could not hear absolutely any sounds of a bell as the sea got more roaring. The sea became more violent. Though the wind dropped down, but the ship was in the grip of violent waves of the furious ocean. Thereupon, Ralph with his ship kept on rowing with no direction. All of a sudden, the ship got the jerk and they realized the vessel bumped the Inchcape Rock. So, let us look at the next stanza. Sir Ralph the Rover tore his hair. He cursed himself in his despair. The waves rush in every side. The ship is sinking beneath the tide. So this is the second last stanza of this poem, the Inchcape Rock. This stanza reflects a pang of remorse, repentance. Ralph felt at his evil deeds. If you look at the expressions, Rover tore his hair, shows that Ralph felt remorse, repentance at his evil deeds. He, under the stress and in frustration, pulled his own hair and cursed himself for his evil action, for his evil work, for his evil deed. He fell into a pit made by himself where water rushed in from all sides and made the ship sinking deeper and deeper into a pit of Inchcape Rock. So, this stanza is very important. It is this stanza that describes the central idea, the theme, the message of the poem. And what is the message of the poem? If you dig the pit for others, definitely you are going to fall into it sooner or later. If you do wrong things, you will meet with the due punishment. And this is what the poet Robert Southey has discussed in this stanza. Now let us come to the last stanza of the poem. I read the stanza. But even in his dying fear, one dreadful sound could the rover hear. A sound as if with the Inchcape Bell the devil below was ringing his knell. The last stanza, the stanza number 70, shows how Ralph's wickedness inevitably led him to his demise. Ralph heard something like sound of the Inchcape Bell that trembled him with terror. Look at the second line from the last stanza. One dreadful sound could the rover hear. Ralph heard something like sound of the Inchcape Bell that frightened, that trembled him with terror. Actually, it was his death knell that reminded his approaching end due to his unreasoning motive, unreasoning work done by Ralph. The word in the last line, knell, means the sound of a bell rung solemnly after death or at funeral announcement of death. So, it was a death knell that reminded his approaching end due to his wrong deeds, the evil plan, because he has destroyed the noble work of Abbot. So in this way, from the beginning to the end of the poem, we saw that how the Ralph got his punishment because of his wrong deeds, because of his evil work. And therefore, the poem conveys the message that as you sow, so you will reap, so you shall reap. If you do wrong things, you will meet with the due punishment. So this is what the poet wants to convey the message through this poem, the Inchcape Rock. So we have discussed all the stanzas, 17 stanzas from the poem, the Inchcape Rock. I'll give you activities on this poem. These activities based on this poem. So I stop here. Thank you.